High noon, Jones and Keefe here on WEEI. It's been a busy week in terms of the Rafael Devers discussion. Last night, made his Giants debut. Prior to that, he was introduced at a press conference, said he'd play anywhere. Giants do lose 3-2 to the Guardians. So same result as the Red Sox yesterday, but Devers had 2 hits by himself in 5 at-bats. Red Sox had 2 hits total and got blanked last night against the Seattle Mariners. So for more on what the Giants are getting or think they're getting in Rafael Devers and more on what the Red Sox are getting in return from the Giants in this trade, we welcome in Dave Flemming, brother of Will, voice of the San Francisco Giants. Dave, thanks so much for taking the time here on Jones and Keefe.
You're welcome, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is out there. I guess it's just turned noon time, huh?
It is, just after high noon here on WEEI. So I heard you emceeing the introductory press conference yesterday, talking about the great history of the Giants and Devers joining that lineage. What exactly do you feel like the Giants think they're getting in Rafael Devers?
I think they do think they're getting a guy who can fit in that, sort of pantheon. I do. It's funny because Giants play in this ballpark now and really have since they came to San Francisco because Candlestick was a horrible place to hit. And Oracle Park is beautiful, and it might be the most beautiful park in the game, and people love coming to it, and our fans love it, but it could be the hardest park to hit in baseball. I mean, it's an extreme pitcher's park, and so part of what I said yesterday was, like, in spite of all that, and the Giants winning all these World Series with Lincecum and Bumgarner and Kane and all these guys pitching leading the way, it's still the franchise of Willie Mays and Willie McCovey and Barry Bonds and Will Clark and Orlando Cepeda and Buster Posey, and like the Giants have a lineup of great hitters that's basically unmatched. I mean, even the Yankees would have a hard time. You could have a good debate about Bonds, Mays, and McCovey against Garrett, Ruth, and Mantle and Judge or whatever. So anyway, like the Giants have been starving for a big star hitter, and they do feel like they got an elite hitter. Whatever was going on in Boston and whatever you think about the defensive position or capabilities of Devers, I don't think there's much of a debate. Kershaw said it on Sunday Night Baseball the other night, top 10 hitter in the game, and he said at worst, maybe better than that. And I think I agree with that. Like, he's elite, and that's what the Giants think they're getting.
Were Giants fans at all wondering, why is this guy available? Why would he get dealt here in early June?
I'm sure. I mean, everybody was so shocked that it happened. I'm sure that was part of it. I don't think they spent a whole lot of time dwelling on that. I think they were like, we got this guy? Sure, we'll take him, whatever happened. Everybody who follows baseball knows at least the basics of what was going on. But look, the Giants are a franchise we've always had. Bonds certainly had his moments of prickliness, and Giants fans got real sensitive about outsiders criticizing them for the way one of their players was acting. So I think there is like a little sensitivity around here of don't judge. You don't know what's going on. Just take your guys and go play with your guys. And I think that's at least Giants fans' hope, is that it's kind of a reset for a talented young guy.
What do you think of the return package coming back to Boston? Because for us here, at least on this show, I don't think either of us are going to miss Devers very much. I mean, he's never, as much as you and Kershaw believe he's an elite hitter, he's very, very good. He's never been top 10 in MVP voting over the course of his career. So I was kind of done with Devers on the one hand. I'm also a little underwhelmed by the return, and I think a lot of fans are frustrated by what the Red Sox are getting back. What did you think of the package coming back to Boston?
Yeah, I mean, I won't debate you because you guys have seen a lot more of Devers than me. He's got the most extra base hits of any player in baseball since 2019. So, I think that's pretty elite. But yeah, regardless of that, Kyle Harrison is a talented young pitcher. And, at one point, even just a couple of years ago, a lot of people thought he was the number one pitching prospect in the game. Kyle has a very, very good fastball. When he's right, when his body's right, his fastball is not only high velocity from the left side, it's just got it's some of those characteristics that make it really tough to hit. He has really struggled to develop the secondary pitches to complement it, to make him a more complete starter. He's 23 years old. He still has time to do that. I'm a believer in Kyle Harrison, and I think in time the Red Sox could have themselves ace is too high of a bar probably, but a true big league starting pitcher, which is really valuable. So, and I really hope that for Kyle. He's a great kid, grew up in the Bay Area. So I think Kyle Harrison is a guy with a lot of promise. As for the rest of it, Jordan Hicks just wasn't fitting here. He was having a hard time staying healthy. They tried to convert him into a starter. That didn't really work. Then he went to the bullpen and was a total mess his first few times out of the pen after, training to be a starter. Jordan Hicks can be a good, solid reliever for the Red Sox. He can be. And then the two minor leaguers are good prospects. It's hard to ever predict that. I don't really have a way of comparing what they could have gotten. I mean, I see all these articles being written about like, oh my gosh, the Giants took the contract on and the Red Sox offloaded the contract, and I don't know. I mean, that kind of stuff. That's not why I'm a sports fan, like following contracts and contract details. Like I want to see good players. And so I think the Giants just felt like we got the best player in the trade, and that's that. And that was sort of the bottom line.
Were you surprised that the Giants didn't have to include their top prospect, Eldridge, in the deal? There's been reporting here, at least locally, that the Red Sox asked for him. They backed off of it. Maybe the contract was the offshoot there, or the trade-off there. But were you surprised when you first saw the deal that Eldridge wasn't included?
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I thought I was surprised that the Giants could not that. I didn't think the Giants were going to trade Eldridge, because Bryce Eldridge has a chance to be great and, maybe the best power prospect in the game right now. He's just a monstrous kid who looks really talented. Yeah. So I didn't think the Giants were going to trade him, but I figured that if the Red Sox were going to deal Devers, they were going to have to get a guy like that back in return. And maybe they believe that about Kyle Harrison. I could talk myself into thinking Kyle Harrison is that level of talent. So it could be that that's what the Red Sox decided. I thought all along the Giants and the Red Sox were good trade partners. Giants desperately need offense. The Red Sox seem to have this sort of log jam of hitters, young and old. And, maybe there was a match to get some pitching to Boston and some hitting to San Francisco, and I thought they were a good match. I just figured it might be a less explosive trade, a less high-profile trade. And so it almost never occurred to me that Devers could be had for what wouldn't be considered like I'm not saying a Juan Soto haul, but, Soto was dealt for a huge prospect package with very little time left on his contract, and I guess maybe the perception is that the contract is an anchor as opposed to an asset. I think the Giants are looking at it like, hey, this guy's signed, he's going to be here. Whatever happens 8 years from now, who cares about that? The next 3, 4, 5 years, you've got a middle of the order hitter who's in his prime, and that's what matters more than trying to evaluate the aging curve and all that stuff that everybody likes to talk about.
Where do the Giants plan on using Devers? I know last night he was the DH, but you got Matt Chapman on the IL. I know Devers, said yesterday he would play wherever they need him to play, but where do you think this season you're going to see him?
Yeah, they're not going to play him at third. And I think I talked to Buster Posey yesterday about it, and Buster basically said, look, we don't think it's fair. Chapman's coming back in 2 weeks. So we don't think it's fair. He hasn't played third. It was the point of contention back home. Let's not have him go out there for 10 days and then he gets yanked from that spot. I think they're going out of their way. Let's try to be overly communicative and listen to his feedback, talk to him through all this, and make him as comfortable as possible. So he's going to be primarily the DH for now. He's got a first base glove on the way. I think he said it's arriving today. He doesn't even have a first baseman's mitt. I mean, he's literally never played first. But I think the Giants believe he can do it, and he's agreed to take ground balls and work pregame on first base defense. And so the next few days are going to be dedicated to that. And I don't think it's an impossibility that this weekend when the Sox are in town, I don't think it's impossible that you would see Devers play first base in at least one of those games.
That's fantastic.
That'd be perfect. That would be
great.
perfect.
It adds to the whole thing. I love that. Now, Dave, I'm not as familiar with your play-by-play style as your brother Will, so I don't know how many chances you've had to use animal noises.
Oink, oink.
But that's really picking up some steam around here.
And can you explain the context of that for me, please?
Basically, Lou Merloni calls Garrett.
You should ask your brother to do that.
Lou Merloni refers to Garrett Crochet as a pig because he has filthy stuff. And after one of the great Crochet games, I think it was a strikeout. Your brother decided to cap it off with an oink oink.
That's fun. I mean, and look, you guys laughed when I said he might play first base this weekend. What's the point of all this? Like, why do we do any of this? It's supposed to be fun. It's entertainment. Right. It's like all this stuff is like, so bring it on. If this weekend, if we got some oinks, if we got Devers over at first, whatever. Good. That's what it's supposed to be.
It is really an amazing part of this whole thing is the way the schedule broke. They trade him on a Sunday and then Friday head-to-head. Because not that the Red Sox and Giants play each other all that often, and here we go. So looking forward to the series very much.
All right. And,
me too.
Well, Dave, we appreciate the time. Say hi to your brother at the buffet line as well.
Oink, oink.
When he's there in San Francisco. And thanks for the insight on this move. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. I can't wait to see him here in town. So I'll talk to you guys again, I hope.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Dave.
Dave Flemming, the voice of the Giants, brother of Will, kind enough to join us here high noon on the East Coast, early out on the West Coast. He did start a little Marco Sturm there, where he's like, hey, I don't know.
That's a good point.
What time is it?
Listen, time zones throw me off,
the
too.
time zones should throw somebody on the West Coast off. When you're here and we're all in the same time zone.
Yeah, that's true.
A little less confusing, I would say. He was very nice about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, Kyle Harrison could be like a big league pitcher.
But he was surprised they didn't have to give up their top prospect.
Well, that to me was the more telling answer. When he's like, well, yeah, I was surprised the Giants didn't give up their top prospects. Like, right. So, look, we're more done with Devers than not. He says he leads the bigs in extra base hits in 2019.
But everybody agrees.
They didn't get enough.
Yeah. It's like the Predator meme.
Yeah.
You're shaking hands. We all, whether you like Devers, love Devers, hate him, like in the middle, you're like, they should have gotten more for him.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is out there.
Morning, good afternoon. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I told you.
Perfect.
He
stormed it.
Like I almost said that, and I'm like, he's not going to get it. We're going to throw the whole thing off. Before the interview even starts.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
The first time by any means.
Yeah, like the Jordan Hicks thing too, because he didn't start anywhere else, and then the Giants kind of tried starting him, but then he also threw out of the pen. Dude. And then he talked about he's just getting hurt all the time. You're getting nothing from Jordan Hicks.
I guess I didn't. Oh no.
I mean,
I didn't really even think about how Devers could play first base literally against the Red Sox.
He might make his first base debut against the Red Sox.
I was just so irate he was even going to do it.
That's hilarious.
I didn't even spend the time thinking about it. It could happen for the first time against the Red Sox.
And
out of spite. He's finally ordering a glove, by the way.
And the way things
what a guy.
Yeah.
They asked him in spring. They asked him in spring to take grounders at third and first, according to Julian McWilliams. He said no and demanded a trade, by the way, then.
Yep.
But sure, be mad at the Red Sox about it. But he still didn't even bother to get a glove, even showing up to the Giants.
Where all the Yankees had buying first base gloves.
Well,
that was a bad report.
Turns out we got some bad intel.
Turns out that was not true.
Look, not every insider report is accurate. That's true.
Pretty hilarious though if he plays first base. Now the way things are going,
he's going to play first. Just head to head against the Red Sox. Yeah,
the way things are going, the Red Sox might not have too many guys on first base when he's there. But however, if they do, let's say they get a couple of base knocks.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a hug? Is it a handshake? Is it nothing? Because usually, even
if it's Campbell, Devers is going to mean mug him.
David Ortiz would be like hugging Robinson Cano on second base during Red Sox Yankees. So that's an interesting dynamic.
Duran,
like Devers
that's
on
a good
first.
Call.
Yeah.
Duran will freeze him out.
He'll
freeze out Campbell if Campbell happens to magically luck his way into a bleeder and gets to first base.
And then don't worry about that.
The rest of them, I bet they'll probably be okay with.
They might not get to first base. They really right now they're in a bit of a funk. They're having a hard time.
They're not getting to first base.
It's not their strong suit.